The navy blue dress hangs on the back of my bedroom door like a question mark I'm not sure I want to answer. It's the only remotely formal thing I own, bought on clearance 3 years ago for a job interview I didn't get, and even then, it had felt like an extravagance I couldn't afford. Tonight, it's my armor for a world I don't belong to. I check my phone for the 3rd time in 10 minutes. The text from my best friend Vanessa still glows on the screen. Elena, please come tonight. I need you there. This gala means everything for the foundation. You promised. I did promise. 6 months ago, when Vanessa first got the job coordinating the annual Children's Hospital Charity Gala. Back when it seemed like a distant, hypothetical event. Back before my landlord raised my rent. Before my car needed $800 in repairs. Before the universe reminded me that women like me, 28, waitressing to pay off student loans from a nursing degree I never finished, don't attend galas. We serve drinks at them. My studio apartment in Queens is exactly 420 square feet of carefully managed poverty. Every item serves multiple purposes. The coffee table doubles as my dining table and desk. The futon converts from couch to bed. The vintage dress form in the corner isn't decoration, it's where I practice the alterations I do on the side for extra cash. I've gotten good at making things look better than they are, including myself. The dress still fits, which feels like a small miracle given my diet lately has consisted primarily of whatever doesn't get ordered at the restaurant. I zip it up, studying my reflection in the mirror I rescued from someone's curb 3 years ago. The dress is simple, modest, a high neckline, 3/4 sleeves, hem that falls just below my knees. It's the kind of dress that says, I'm here, but please don't look at me too closely. Which is exactly what I'm going for. My dark hair, which I normally keep in a practical ponytail for work, hangs in waves around my shoulders, the result of sleeping in braids last night because I can't afford a curling iron that actually works. I apply the drugstore makeup I've learned to use strategically. Concealer for the shadows under my eyes that come from working double shifts. Mascara to make my brown eyes look less tired than they feel. Lipstick in a shade called Pink Perseverance that I'm choosing to take as a sign. The subway ride from Queens to Manhattan takes 45 minutes and costs me $2.75. I've budgeted precisely. I watch my reflection in the dark windows as the train rocks through tunnels. Surrounded by Friday night crowds heading to bars and restaurants and lives that seem effortless in ways mine has never been. The Grand Celestial Hotel rises like a cathedral of glass and steel in Midtown, its entrance flanked by valets and doormen in uniforms that probably cost more than my monthly rent. I hover at the edge of the red carpet, actual red carpet, watching women in gowns that shimmer like liquid gold and diamonds that catch the camera flashes from society photographers stationed at the entrance. A text from Vanessa. Where are you? Check-in table. East entrance. Your name is on the list. 3 exclamation points. That's how I know she's stressed. If you're enjoying this story so far, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Drop a comment telling me where in the world you're watching from. I love hearing from you. I take a breath that doesn't quite fill my lungs and walk toward the entrance, trying to channel a confidence I absolutely don't feel. The doorman doesn't even glance at me as I slip past. I'm that invisible already. Inside, the Grand Celestial's ballroom is exactly what its name promises. Celestial. Crystal chandeliers hang like captured constellations. Marble floors gleam so perfectly I can see the reflection of women's shoes. Louboutin, Manolo Blahnik. Designers I only know from the tags on clothes I've altered. Round tables draped in ivory silk fill the space, each centerpiece an explosion of white roses and orchids that probably cost more than I make in a week. A waiter passes with a tray of champagne and crystal flutes. I take one because it's free and because my hands need something to do. Elena, oh my God, you came. Vanessa materializes in a rush of crimson silk and panicked energy. She looks stunning, her black hair swept into an elegant updo, her dress clearly expensive, borrowed from the foundation's donors for tonight. She pulls me into a quick hug that smells like designer perfume and stress sweat. I was so worried you'd back out. I promised. I say, though I definitely considered backing out approximately 7 times today. You look beautiful, she says, and I can hear the surprise in her voice that she's trying to hide. Beautiful for me, she means. Beautiful considering my budget. Come on, you're at table 12. It's toward the back, which is actually perfect, because that's where people like me belong. I don't mean for it to come out bitter, but it does anyway. Vanessa's face softens. Because that's where the foundation staff table is, and I need friendly faces in the crowd. Elena, I know this isn't your scene, but it means everything that you're here. Truly. I squeeze her hand because she's been my best friend since high school, since before either of us knew that life would turn out this unequal. Go. Do your thing. I'll be fine. She hesitates, clearly torn between her duties and her guilt about abandoning me. But then someone calls her name and she's swept back into the current of responsibilities, leaving me standing alone in a sea of people who all seem to know exactly where they belong. I make my way to table 12, which is indeed in the back corner of the ballroom, partially hidden behind an elaborate floral display. The other seats are filling with people as speedy as I recognize as foundation volunteers and staff kind faces, modest jewelry, shoes from actual stores instead of designer boutiques. My people, I think and feel, both comforted and depressed by the designation. Section 2. The Fateful Encounter. The gala proceeds exactly as I expected, invisible. I sit at table 12, making small talk with a volunteer named Dorothy, who tells me extensively about her grandchildren. I eat the plated dinner, some kind of chicken with a sauce I can't pronounce, vegetables arranged like art, a dessert that's more architecture than food. I applaud politely during the speeches. I bid on nothing during the silent auction because the starting prices make my monthly salary look like pocket change. I'm fine with being invisible. Invisible is safe. Invisible is what I'm good at. But then I make the mistake of needing the restroom. The ladies' room is, predictably, more luxurious than my entire apartment. Marble everything, individual vanity stations, actual, flowers in vases, and hand lotion that probably costs $50 an ounce. I'm washing my hands when two women enter, their conversation already in progress. Absolutely devastating in that Tom Ford, one says, touching up lipstick that's already perfect. Though I heard the Castellano family is having financial troubles. All that new money from the Sorrentinos is making the old guard nervous. Adrian Sorrentino doesn't make anyone nervous, the other woman replies, her tone dropping to something that sounds like reverence and fear in equal measure. He is the reason people get nervous. I keep my head down, drying my hands, trying to remain invisible even here. Did you see his date tonight? That model from Milan? Ex-date. Rumor is he ended it last week. Apparently, she made the mistake of posting about him on social media. They laugh, but it's not a comfortable sound. I slip out while they're still dissecting someone's life, grateful to escape back to my corner table where nobody discusses dangerous men with casual familiarity. But when I return to the ballroom, something has shifted. The energy feels different, more charged, more focused. A crowd has gathered near the center of the room, and I can hear the subtle change in conversation, the way voices drop and then rise again with barely contained speculation. I skirt the edge of the crowd, trying to make my way back to table 12, when I collide directly into a wall of muscle disguised as a man in a suit. Sorry, I mumble, stepping back, keeping my eyes down in automatic deference. Watch where you're going. The voice is cold, professional, and comes from somewhere above my head. I look up, I have to. It would be rude not to, and find myself staring at a man who is very clearly security. Not hotel security. Something else. Something that radiates danger in the way his hand hovers near his jacket, in the way his eyes scan the crowd with mechanical precision, never quite landing on me because I'm beneath his notice. I said I'm sorry, I repeat, trying to step around him. His hand moves, not touching me but blocking my path. This section is restricted. I blink, confused, looking around. I'm still in the ballroom. There are no ropes, no signs, nothing indicating any section is off limits. I'm just trying to get back to my table. Which table? 12. In the back. I'm with the foundation. Something in his expression shifts, not softening exactly but recalculating. He's about to respond when a voice cuts through the noise of the crowd, low and controlled but carrying the kind of authority that makes people instinctively straighten their spines. Let her through, Marcus. The security guard Marcus steps aside immediately, and for the first time, I see what the crowd has been gravitating toward. He sits at a table near the center of the ballroom, though sits is too passive a word for what he's doing. He commands the space the way other people breathe effortlessly, inevitably. Dark hair swept back from a face that's all sharp angles and shadows, a jaw that looks carved rather than born. His suit is black, perfectly tailored to shoulders that seem designed to carry weight. But it's his eyes that stop me cold, dark, almost black, and currently fixed on me with an intensity that makes my skin prickle with awareness. I've never seen him before, but somehow I know exactly who he is. Adrian Sorrentino. The name those women whispered in the bathroom like a prayer and a curse. Thank you. I manage, my voice steadier than I feel, and I force myself to look away, to move past Marcus and the invisible barrier they'd created, back toward the safety of my corner table. I can feel his eyes on me as I walk away. The weight of his gaze is physical, tangible, a touch without touching. My spine stays straight through sheer force of will, My steps measured and careful in heels I'm not used to wearing, and I don't look back even though every instinct is screaming at me to turn around, to verify that I didn't imagine the way he looked at me, like he was cataloging every detail, like he was memorizing me. I'm 3 steps from my table when I hear it, a voice. Male, slightly drunk, far too close. Well, hello there. I don't think we've been introduced. I turn to find a man in his mid-40s blocking my path, his tuxedo expensive but rumpled, his bow tie slightly askew, his eyes glassy with too much champagne and too much entitlement. He's swaying slightly, his smile the kind that men think is charming but women recognize as predatory. "Excuse me," I say politely, trying to step around him. He mirrors my movement, still blocking me. "Don't be like that. I'm just trying to be friendly. What's your name, beautiful? I'm not interested in—" "Come on, don't play hard to get. A woman wearing a dress like that, she's here to be noticed, right?" His hand reaches for my arm. I step back, my heel catching on the hem of my dress, and for a horrible moment, I feel myself starting to fall, my champagne flute tilting, everything moving in slow motion. The impact never comes. A hand catches my elbow firm, steady, warm through the fabric of my dress. The champagne flute is plucked from my fingers before it can spill, and when I look up, Adrian Sorrentino is standing so close I can smell his cologne, something dark and expensive that makes me think of midnight and smoke. "I believe the lady said she's not interested." His voice is quiet, conversational even, but there's something underneath it that makes the drunk man step back instinctively, his face going pale. You were just leaving. Not a suggestion. A command." The man leaves, quickly. Adrian releases my elbow slowly, as if giving me time to steady myself, and holds out my champagne flute. "You dropped this. Or, almost did. Thank you." I take the glass, hyper-aware of how close he's standing, how everyone in our immediate vicinity has stopped talking to watch this interaction. "You didn't have to." "I know." His eyes haven't left my face, and I can't read the expression in them. "What's your name?" "Elena." It comes out barely above a whisper. "Elena Reyes." Elena. The way he says it makes it sound like something valuable, something worth remembering. "You're with the foundation?" I nod, not trusting my voice. "Which means you're here because you care about sick children, not because you're hunting for a wealthy husband." The corner of his mouth curves slightly. Not quite a smile, but close. Refreshing. I don't know what to say to that, so I say nothing. He studies me for another moment, his gaze moving from my face to the simple dress I'm wearing, to my clearance rack heels, taking in every detail that marks me as different from every other woman in this ballroom. Then he does something unexpected. He holds out his hand. "Dance with me." Section 3, the recognition. "I don't dance," I say, automatically, because it's true. I don't. I never learned, never had the money for lessons or the occasions that required them. "Neither do I," Adrian says, but his hand stays extended, palm up, waiting. "We'll figure it out together." Behind him, I can see Marcus, and what I now realize is an entire security detail watching with expressions ranging from surprise to concern. At the tables nearest us, conversations have died completely, replaced by stares that range from curious to hostile. The women in their designer gowns look at me like I'm a stain on the expensive carpet, something that needs to be removed. I should say no. Every instinct I have for self-preservation is screaming at me to refuse, to retreat back to my corner table where I belong, to return to being invisible. But there's something in his eyes, not pity, not charity, but genuine interest that makes me place my hand in his. His fingers close around mine, warm and sure, and he leads me onto the dance floor where other couples are already swaying to a string quartet playing something classical I can't name. His other hand settles at the small of my back, the touch light but somehow possessive, and suddenly we're moving, and I realize he lied. He absolutely knows how to dance. "You do dance," I accuse softly, trying to follow his lead without stepping on his undoubtedly expensive shoes. "I said I don't dance. I didn't say I don't know how." His mouth curves into something closer to a real smile. "There's a difference. That's semantics. That's honesty. I can feel every eye in the ballroom on us, feel the weight of judgment and speculation and confusion. A man like Adrian Sorrentino doesn't dance with women like me. It breaks some unspoken rule of social hierarchy, violates the natural order of wealth and power and beauty. Everyone's staring, I say, my voice tight. Let them. I don't think you understand. I don't belong here. Not really. I'm just here because my friend works for the foundation, and she asked me to come. and I should probably go back to my table now before... Before what? He tilts his head slightly, studying me with that same intensity that makes me feel simultaneously exposed and protected. Before people talk? Elena, people are always talking. The question is whether you care. Easy for you to say. I stop myself, but he finishes the sentence. Rich? Powerful? Dangerous? His tone is almost amused. All accurate, but also irrelevant to whether you should care about the opinions of people who judge you for the price of your dress, rather than the quality of your character. The music swells, and he turns us smoothly, and I catch a glimpse of the ballroom from this new angle. He's right, everyone is staring. But something else is happening too. The men who'd been hovering near the edges of the dance floor, the ones who'd been making their way toward unaccompanied women with that particular look of wealthy entitlement, they're all retreating, moving back to their tables, finding sudden interest in their champagne glasses or their phones, as if they've received an unspoken order. What did you do? I ask, because the change is too coordinated to be coincidence. I'm dancing with you. That's all. But it's not all. I can see it in the way Marcus has positioned himself at the edge of the dance floor, in the way the other security personnel have spread out around the room, in the way men who moments ago had been confidently approaching women are now suddenly keeping their distance. From everyone. You're scaring them away, I realize. All of them. Not just from me, from everyone. Adrian doesn't deny it. I don't like competition. I search for the word. Insane? Controlling? Possessive? That's not normal. No, he agrees calmly. It's not. The song is ending, transitioning into another, but he doesn't release me. If anything, his hand at my back presses slightly firmer, keeping me close. I should really get back to my table, I say, even though part of me, a part I don't want to examine too closely, doesn't want this to end. Why? Because I struggle to articulate the wrongness of it, the impossibility. Because I'm a waitress from Queens who bought her dress on clearance, and you're Adrian Sorrentino. His expression shifts, something dark and unreadable crossing his features. You know who I am. It's not a question, but I answer anyway. I heard people talking. In the bathroom, they said. I trail off, unsure how much to reveal. They said I'm dangerous. He completes the thought, no apology in his voice. They're not wrong. The honest admission should terrify me. Instead, it clarifies something. Whatever this is, whoever he is, he's not pretending to be anything other than exactly what people fear. I need to know something, he says, his voice dropping lower, intimate despite the crowd around us. Are you here with anyone? Boyfriend? Husband? No. Do you have someone waiting for you at home? Just a studio apartment and a plant I'm pretty sure is dying. His mouth curves. Then stay. Stay. Here. With me. For the rest of the evening. He spins us again, and this time I notice that the space around us on the dance floor has widened. Other couples have moved away, giving us room, giving him deference. Let me show you what this world looks like when you're not trying to be invisible. I should say no. This is how bad decisions start, with handsome, dangerous men offering to show you their world. This is how women like me get hurt, used, discarded. But his hand is warm on my back, and for the first time in longer than I can remember, someone is looking at me like I matter. Not like I'm convenient or available or desperate enough to settle. Like I'm actually worth noticing. Okay, I hear myself say. I'll stay. Something like satisfaction flashes in his dark eyes. Good. He leads me off the word. Dance floor. His hand moving from my back to the curve of my waist in a gesture that's both protective and proprietary. We pass table 12, where Dorothy and the other Foundation volunteers are staring with expressions of shock and concern, and I give them a small wave that I hope communicates. I'm fine. This is fine. Everything is totally fine. I'm not sure I believe it myself. Adrian guides me to his table, the center table, the one with the best view of the stage where the auction is about to begin, the one where the wealthiest donors sit. There are already people seated here, men in expensive suits and women in gowns that cost more than my year's rent, and they all look up as we approach with expressions ranging from curiosity to barely concealed hostility. Gentlemen. Ladies. Adrian's tone is pleasant but leaves no room for argument. This is Elena Reyes. She'll be joining us for the remainder of the evening. A chair appears as if by magic, pulled out by Marcus, positioned directly next to Adrian's seat. I sit because standing would be more awkward, hyper-aware of how my dress looks next to the designer gowns, how my drugstore makeup compares to their professional applications, how everything about me screams that I don't belong here. Adrian sits beside me, close enough that our arms brush, and begins introducing the other people at the table. Names I immediately forget, titles that sound important, companies I recognize from news articles about acquisitions and hostile takeovers. They nod politely, but I can see the calculation in their eyes, the questions about who I am and why I'm here, and what I could possibly have that Adrian Sorrentino would want. I'm wondering the same thing. The auction begins with fanfare I barely register. A professional auctioneer takes the stage, his voice booming through speakers as images of auction items flash on massive screens flanking the stage. Luxury vacations, exclusive experiences, artwork by artists whose names I recognize from museum placards. Adrian bids on nothing. Instead, he leans back in his chair with the ease of someone utterly comfortable in his own power, his attention divided between the stage and me. Not obviously, he's too subtle for that, but I feel it in the way he angles his body slightly toward mine, in the small adjustments he makes when someone approaches our table, always positioning himself between me and whoever's speaking. A woman in a silver gown that probably costs more than my car back when my car worked stops by our table, her smile diamond bright and equally sharp. "Adrian, darling, I didn't expect to see you here tonight." Her eyes slide to me, dismissive and assessing in a single glance. "Usually you send a representative to these things." Plans changed. His response is polite but offers nothing. She waits for more, an introduction, an explanation, something. But when Adrian simply returns his attention to the stage, she has no choice but to move on. I watch her rejoin a group of women near the bar, see the way they immediately huddle together, heads bent in conversation, glances darting back to our table. "You're making my life very complicated," I murmur, not looking at him. "How so?" "Those women are probably planning my murder right now." He makes a sound that might be amusement. "They wouldn't dare." "Because you're that scary?" "Because I'm that observant." His hand moves to rest on the back of my chair, not touching me, but close enough that I can feel the heat of him. "And I don't tolerate threats to things I've claimed." The word claimed sends a shiver down my spine that I refuse to analyze. "You can't just claim a person, can't I?" He finally looks at me fully, his dark eyes holding mine. "You're still here, Elena. You could leave. Walk out of this ballroom. Go back to your apartment in Queens. Return to being invisible. But you're not." He's right, and I hate that he's right. Some part of me, the part that's tired of being overlooked, dismissed, treated as if I only matter when I'm serving someone else's needs, wants this. Wants to be seen the way he's seeing me now. Why me? The question slips out before I can stop it. There are 50 women here who are more beautiful, more sophisticated, more appropriate. He finishes. Perhaps, but they're also calculating. Every smile, every laugh, every carefully rehearsed story about their charity work or their family connections, it's all performance. Currency in a transaction they hope will net them something valuable. His fingers drum once against the back of my chair. "You weren't performing. You were trying to disappear. So you chose me because I was invisible?" "I chose you because when you thought no one was watching, you were kind to that older woman at your table. Because you didn't bid on anything in the auction, even though I could see you wanted to that watercolor of the Florence skyline. Because when that drunk man wouldn't leave, you alone. Your first instinct wasn't to make a scene or find someone more powerful to protect you. It was to handle it yourself quietly." He pauses. That kind of strength is rare, especially here. I don't know what to say to that. The watercolor did catch my eye, a small piece, not one of the headline items, depicting Florence at sunset with the Duomo rising against golden light. My grandmother was from Florence. She died when I was 19, leaving me with memories of her stories and a longing for places I've never seen. "It's going up for bid now," Adrian says, nodding toward the stage where the auctioneer is indeed presenting the Florence watercolor. "I can't afford. Starting bid is $5,000, the auctioneer announces. "Do I hear 5,000? Adrian raises his paddle. Number 47. 5,000 to paddle 47. "Do I hear 6? A woman across the room raises her paddle. Adrian counters immediately. The bidding escalates quickly. 10,000, 15, 20. The woman keeps bidding, her jaw set with determination, clearly seeing this as some kind of competition she needs to win. At $50,000, she finally drops out. "Sold to paddle 47 for $50,000. I stare at him, my mouth slightly open. "You just spent $50,000 on a painting worth maybe $5,000. I spent $50,000 on something you wanted." He says it as if it's the most reasonable thing in the right world. That's insane. You don't even know me. Not yet. There's promise in those two words that makes heat bloom in my chest. But I'd like to. Before I can respond, Marcus appears at Adrian's shoulder, bending down to whisper something I can't hear. Adrian's expression shifts not dramatically, but enough that I notice the way his jaw tightens, the way his hand on the back of my chair curls into a brief fist before relaxing. "Excuse me for a moment," he says, standing smoothly. "I need to handle something. Marcus will stay with you. I don't need a babysitter." Something flashes in his eyes, approval. Maybe, or amusement. Consider him insurance. There are people in this room who would love to know more about you, and I'd prefer they remain curious rather than informed. He leaves before I can argue, disappearing into the crowd with Marcus trailing behind him, leaving me alone at a table full of strangers who are all suddenly very interested in me. "So," says the man to my left, a silver-haired gentleman in his 60s, with kind eyes and a shrewd expression. "You're the mystery woman who's captured Adrian Sorrentino's attention." I'm Robert Castellano. The name triggers recognition from the bathroom conversation I overheard. Castellano family. Old money. Possibly financial troubles. Elena Reyes, I offer, uncertain how much to say. Reyes. He considers the name. Spanish? My father's side. He passed away when I was young. I'm sorry to hear that. He seems genuine. And what do you do? Elena Reyes? When you're not attending charity galas and driving Adrian Sorrentino to spend $50,000 on paintings? The question is polite, but there's assessment behind it. These people are used to measuring worth in terms of family connections, professional titles, social capital. What do I say? I'm a waitress who does alterations on the side and lives in 400 square feet I can barely afford. I'm between opportunities at the moment. I say carefully, which is technically true if you consider barely surviving, to be between better opportunities. Castellano nods as if I've revealed something significant. Ambitious. Adrian appreciates that. Before I can figure out how to respond, a woman across the table leans forward, the one in the silver gown who'd stopped by earlier. Her smile is all teeth. "You must be very special," she purrs. "Adrian doesn't usually bring dates to events like this. In fact, I can't remember the last time he brought anyone anywhere." The implication is clear. I'm an anomaly that needs explaining. We're not. I start, but I'm not even sure how to finish that sentence. "What are we?" "I met him an hour ago. He bought me a painting. He scared away every other man in the ballroom. None of this is normal." "Oh, you don't have to explain." Silver Gown continues, her tone suggesting she very much wants me to explain. "We're all just curious about the woman who managed to catch his eye. You must have some very special talents." The insinuation in her voice makes my face flush. But before I can respond, Robert Castellano cuts in smoothly. "Sophia, that's enough." His tone is gentle but firm. "Let's not make Miss Reyes uncomfortable." Sophia Silvergown smiles sweetly and returns to her champagne. But I can feel her eyes on me, calculating, waiting for me to make a mistake that will prove I don't belong here. She won't have to wait long. The auction continues. Conversation flows around me. Discussions of summer homes in the Hamptons, investment opportunities in emerging markets, complaints about staff and renovations that cost more than most people make in a year. I smile and nod and try to fade into the background, but it's impossible when I'm sitting at the center table, in the seat next to the one Adrian Sorrentino vacated. He's gone for 20 minutes. 20 minutes that feel like 20 hours. When he returns, there's something different about him. A tension in his shoulders that wasn't there before. A hardness around his eyes that makes him look more dangerous. More like the man those women whispered about in the bathroom. He doesn't sit. Instead, he offers me his hand. We're leaving. I take his hand automatically, standing. "Is everything okay?" "It will be." He nods to the others at the table, a dismissal disguised as courtesy, and guides me away from the table with his hand at the small of my back again. "Where are we going?" "Somewhere more private." "Adrian." "Elena." He stops, walking, turns to face me fully, and his expression is serious. "I need you to trust me right now. Can you do that?" I should say no. I should demand answers. I should remember that I don't know this man, that meeting him an hour ago doesn't mean I should go anywhere private with him, that every warning sign is flashing red, but there's something in his eyes, urgency mixed with what looks like concern, that overrides my very reasonable objections. Okay, if you're hooked on this story, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Your support means everything and helps me bring you more emotional stories like this one. He leads me through the ballroom, not toward the main entrance, but through a side door marked, "Staff Only." We pass through a corridor I didn't know existed. Marcus and 2 other security personnel materializing from nowhere to flank us. No one stops us. No one questions why we're in a restricted area. We emerge in an underground parking garage. The air cooler here, smelling of concrete and car exhaust. A black SUV with tinted windows idles near the elevator, its engine running. "Get in," Adrian says, opening the rear door. This is it. The moment where the fairy tale turns into a cautionary tale. Where the mysterious stranger reveals himself to be something far more dangerous than romantic. Where women like me learn why we should stay invisible. I get in anyway. The interior is leather and luxury, partitioned between the front and back seats. Adrian slides in beside me, and the door closes with a solid thunk that sounds like a vault ceiling. Marcus gets in the front passenger seat. The driver, a different one from earlier, pulls out smoothly. "Where are we going?" I ask again, proud that my voice is steady. "Somewhere safe." Safe from what? Adrian studies me for a moment, seeming to weigh how much to reveal. Finally, he says, "Do you know what I do, Elena?" "Really do?" "I've heard rumors. Tell me." I swallow. "That you're connected to organized crime. That you control most of the shipping coming through the port. That people who cross you tend to disappear." He doesn't flinch, doesn't deny, and yet you got in the car. "You said to trust you." That's not an answer. That's deflection. He leans back against the leather seat, his arms stretched along the back, his fingers nearly touching my shoulder. "Why did you get in the car, Elena?" "Because I'm tired of being invisible. Because for one night, someone powerful looked at me like I mattered. Because some self-destructive part of me wants to see where this goes, even knowing it might destroy me." "I don't know," I whisper. His fingers do touch my shoulder then, just a brush of contact that sends electricity down my spine. "The man at the gala tonight, the one who wouldn't leave you alone? His name is Richard Hartley. He's a businessman, respectable on the surface. But he has a pattern. Women who catch his attention tend to end up hurt, sometimes worse." My stomach drops. "How do you know?" "Because I make it my business to know who's dangerous and who's just pretending to be." His jaw tightens. "When I saw him approaching you, when I saw you trying to get away without making a scene, I knew exactly what he was planning. And I knew I couldn't let it happen. So you, what? Scared him off?" "I had Marcus deliver a message, that you were under my protection, that anyone who touched you would answer to me personally. The possessiveness in his voice should alarm me. Instead, it awakens something I didn't know was sleeping. A dark thrill at being claimed by someone powerful enough to make threats like that, and have them taken seriously. But Hartley has friends," Adrian continues. "Friends who were at that gala tonight. Friends who don't like being told what they can and can't do. And now they know you're important to me." His eyes meet mine. "Which makes you a target." The weight of his words settles over me, like ice water. "A target for what?" "For leverage. For revenge. For making a point." He shifts, angling toward me more fully. "I won't let anything happen to you, Elena. But that means making some changes to how you live. At least temporarily." "Changes like what?" "Like not going back to your apartment in Queens tonight. Or any night until I've neutralized the threat." I stare at him. "You're saying I can't go home." "I'm saying your home isn't safe anymore. Because of me. Because I made the choice to claim you publicly without asking if you wanted to be claimed." For the first time, something like regret crosses his features. "I'm sorry. I should have thought about the consequences. Should have given you a choice." "You're giving me one now," I point out, even though we both know it's not much of a choice. "What am I supposed to do? Demand he take me back to my studio apartment so Richard Hartley's friends can what? Hurt me? Kill me? Use me to get to Adrian? Where would I stay?" I ask, trying to focus on logistics rather than the surreal horror of my situation. "With me? I have a penthouse in Tribeca, fully secured, 24-hour security. No one gets in without my approval." "You want me to move in with you, a man I met 3 hours ago. I want to keep you alive." His voice is flat. "Matter of fact, everything else is negotiable." Section 5. The glimpse behind the mask. The penthouse is exactly what I'd expect from a man like Adrian Sorrentino. 50 floors up, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Manhattan skyline, furniture that looks like it belongs in an art gallery, and a level of security that includes 3 separate checkpoints just to access his private elevator. Marcus escorts us up, his expression professionally blank, though I catch him glancing at me occasionally as if trying to figure out what makes me worth all this trouble. I'm wondering the same thing. The elevator doors open directly into the penthouse, no hallway, no other apartments, just straight into a foyer with marble floors, and a chandelier that probably cost more than I'll make in my lifetime. Adrian places his hand on the small of my back, again that gesture that's becoming familiar, and guides me inside. Guest rooms are down that hall, he says, pointing left. Master suite is on the opposite side. Kitchen, living area, home office, you're free to use anything. I'll have some clothes sent over tomorrow morning. I turn to face him. You're buying me clothes now? Unless you want to wear that dress indefinitely. His mouth quirks slightly. Not that I'm opposed to the idea. Adrian. Elena. He steps closer, and suddenly the massive penthouse feels very small. I know this is overwhelming. I know I've essentially kidnapped you from a charity gala and told you your life is in danger because I bid on a painting. But I need you to understand something. His hand comes up to cup my cheek, thumb brushing across my cheekbone. I don't make claims lightly. When I say you're under my protection, I mean it. Nothing will hurt you. No one will touch you. Not while I'm breathing. The intensity in his voice makes my breath catch. Why? You don't even know me. Then let me get to know you. He drops his hand, steps back, giving me space. Stay here tonight. Tomorrow, if you want to leave, I'll have Marcus take you anywhere you want to go. I'll post security outside your apartment. Make sure you're safe. But tonight, just stay. I should refuse. Should demand answers about what kind of danger I'm actually in. What exactly he does that makes enemies who would target innocent waitresses just to hurt him. Should insist on going home. Consequences be damned. But I'm exhausted and terrified, and standing in a penthouse that feels like a fortress, and looking at a man who just promised to protect me with his life. Okay, I whisper. Tonight. Relief flashes across his features, quickly masked. The guest room closest to the Reen. Kitchen has an ensuite bathroom. There should be toiletries, towels, anything you need. If you want something to eat or drink, I'm fine. I'm not fine. I'm the opposite of fine. But the idea of eating right now makes my stomach churn. He nods, understanding. Then get some rest. We'll talk more in the morning. I should move. Should walk down that hallway to the guest room and lock the door and try to process everything that's happened tonight. But my feet stay planted on the marble floor, and I hear myself ask, do you really think they'd hurt me? Richard Hartley's friends? Adrian's expression goes cold. Yes. Have they done it before? Hurt women? Yes. And you? What? Stop them? When I can. He tilts his head slightly. Does that surprise you? That someone like me would care about that? I don't know what to think about you. Good. That makes two of us. He moves toward the windows, hands in his pockets, staring out at the city lights. Go rest, Elena. I promise. You're safe here. I do walk away then, down the hallway with its recessed lighting and artwork that's probably worth more than my entire neighborhood. The guest room is bigger than my whole apartment, king-sized bed with what looks like Egyptian cotton sheets, sitting area with a leather couch, bathroom with both a rainfall shower and a soaking tub. I catch sight of myself in the bathroom mirror and barely recognize the woman staring back. Same clearance dress, same drugstore makeup, but something in my eyes looks different. Wider, more awake, more alive than I've felt in years. I shower because I need to wash off the gala, the fear, the surreal turn my life has taken in the space of one evening. The water pressure is perfect, the temperature precisely calibrated, and I stand under the spray until my skin is pink and my fingers are wrinkled. When I emerge wrapped in a towel that's softer than anything I've ever owned, I find clothes laid out on the bed, sweatpants and a t-shirt, both clearly expensive despite their casual styling. A note in elegant handwriting. These were my sisters. She won't mind. I didn't know he had a sister. I pull on the clothes, which fit well enough, and climb into the bed that feels like sleeping on a cloud. I should be too wired to sleep, too overwhelmed by everything, but exhaustion pulls me under almost immediately, and my last conscious thought is wondering if this is what it feels like to be protected, to matter to someone powerful enough to make the world stop for you. I wake to sunlight streaming through windows I forgot to close and the smell of coffee. For a disoriented moment, I think I'm dreaming my apartment doesn't get this much light, and I definitely can't afford coffee that smells this good. Then memory crashes back. The gala, Adrian, the penthouse, the danger. I pull on a robe I find hanging in the closet silk, because of course it is, and follow the coffee smell to the kitchen. Adrian is there, dressed, casually in dark jeans and a black Henley, looking unfairly attractive while doing something as mundane as pouring coffee. He glances up as I enter, and something like relief crosses his face. You stayed. You locked me in a penthouse 50 floors up. Where was I going to go? He smiles slightly. Fair point. Coffee? Please. He pours me a cup, black, and hands it to me. I take a sip, and nearly grown, it's perfect, rich and smooth with notes of chocolate and caramel. Definitely not the instant coffee I buy at the bodega. How'd you sleep? He asks. Better than I expected. I lean against the counter, the marble cool against my back. Did you? Some. I don't believe him. There are shadows under his eyes that suggest he spent most of the night awake, probably dealing with whatever threat necessitated bringing me here. What happens now? I ask. Now we figure out how long you need to stay here. I've got people working on identifying everyone who was at that gala, cross-referencing with known associates of Hartley. Once I know who the actual threats are, I can neutralize them. Neutralize. I repeat the word carefully. What does that mean exactly? His eyes meet mine over his coffee cup. It means I make sure they understand that coming after you means coming after me. And that's not a fight anyone with sense wants. And if they don't have sense, then I handle it permanently. The casual way he says it should terrify me. This is a man talking about violence, maybe murder, as if it's just another business decision. But all I can think is that he's doing it to protect me. A waitress from Queens he met at a charity gala. Why are you really doing this? I ask. The truth. Not the thing about me being kind or strong or different from other women. The real reason. He sets down his coffee cup, considering his answer. Finally. Because when I saw that man approaching you, when I saw the way you tried to handle it quietly without making a scene, it reminded me of my sister. She was like, you tried to be invisible, tried not to cause trouble. And because she was invisible, no one noticed when someone hurt her. My chest tightens. Adrian. She survived. She's fine now. But I wasn't there to protect her when it happened. And I've spent the last 10 years making sure nothing like that happens to anyone else I care about. His eyes hold mine. I know I just met you. I know this is fast and probably crazy. But the moment I saw you trying to disappear, something in me decided you weren't allowed to be invisible anymore. Not on my watch. The confession hangs between us, raw and honest, in a way I didn't expect from him. I should probably question my sanity for believing him, for wanting to believe him. But there's something in his eyes, vulnerability, mixed with determination that makes me think he's telling the truth. Where is she now? Your sister? Safe. Living in California with her husband and their daughter. As far from my world as I could get her. He picks up his coffee again. She thinks I run legitimate businesses. Shipping, logistics, real estate development. And technically I do. But the money that funds those businesses comes from other sources. Illegal sources. Yes. I appreciate the honesty, even as it complicates everything. And you're telling me this because? Because if you're going to stay here, even temporarily, you deserve to know who you're staying with. He moves closer. Not touching, but near enough that I can feel his warmth. I won't lie to you, Elena. Not about what I am or what I do. But I also won't let anything happen to you. Those are the terms. That's not exactly a balanced negotiation. His mouth curves. I never said I was fair. Just honest. A phone buzzes his and he checks it, his expression shifting to something harder. I need to take this. Make yourself at home. There's food in the fridge, and I've already had clothes delivered for you. There. In your room. He disappears into what I assume is his office, and I'm left alone in the kitchen of a man who might be the most dangerous person I've ever met, drinking coffee that costs more per pound than I make in a week, wearing his sister's clothes in his penthouse fortress. My phone, my actual phone that I forgot I had, buzzes in the pocket of the robe. 17 missed calls from Vanessa. 23 texts. All variations of, where are you and are you okay? And the entire gala is talking about you and Adrian Sorrentino. I text back, I'm fine. I'll call you later. Promise. Her response is immediate. You better. I'm freaking out. I pocket the phone and wander through the penthouse, taking in details I missed last night in my exhausted haze. The artwork on the walls is museum quality. I recognize a Rothko. What might be a Basquiat, several pieces by contemporary artists whose work I've only seen in magazines. The furniture is mid-century modern, mixed with industrial elements, all clean lines and quality materials. Everything about this space screams wealth, but it doesn't feel ostentatious. It feels intentional, curated, like someone actually lives here rather than just using it as a showpiece. I find the room he indicated, and sure enough, there are garment bags hanging in the closet. I unzip one and find jeans, real jeans, not the cheap ones I buy, but the kind that actually fit properly. Another bag contains sweaters in soft cashmere and merino wool. A third has what looks like workout clothes, pajamas, even a winter coat. He wasn't kidding about the clothes. I'm trying to process the fact that someone bought me an entire wardrobe overnight when Adrian appears in the doorway. They fit? He asks. I hold up a pair of jeans. How did you know my size? I have people who are good at details. That's either impressive or deeply creepy. Probably both. He leans against the doorframe, watching me with that intense gaze that makes me feel simultaneously exposed and protected. I need to go out for a few hours. Marcus will be here if you need anything. Don't leave the penthouse. Am I a guest or a prisoner? Guest. Who happens to be in protective custody. He pushes off the doorframe. There's a library down the hall if you get bored. TV, movies, whatever you want. And Elena? Yes? Thank you. For what? For trusting me. I know I haven't earned it yet. He turns to leave, then pauses. But I will. Section 6. The complication. He's gone for 6 hours. 6 hours during which I explore every inch of the penthouse that isn't his private bedroom that feels like a line I'm not ready to cross. I find the library he mentioned. A room with floor-to-ceiling bookshelves filled with everything from classic literature to contemporary fiction to technical manuals on shipping logistics. I try to read but can't focus, my mind spinning with questions about my life, this situation, him. Marcus checks on me twice, his expression, professionally neutral, bringing lunch that someone apparently delivered from a restaurant I can't afford even for special occasions. I eat at the dining table that seats 12, feeling ridiculous and tiny in the massive space, and wonder what I'm doing here. My phone rings. Vanessa, don't I'm find me, she says the second I answer. Elena Marie Reyes, what the hell happened last night? You disappeared with Adrian Sorrentino, and then everyone at the gala spent the next 2 hours talking about nothing else. Do you know what people are saying? Probably nothing good. They're saying you're his new girlfriend. They're saying he spent $50,000 on a painting for you. They're saying he cleared the entire dance floor so no one else could approach you. She pauses for breath. Is any of that true? The painting part is true. Oh my God, Elena. Do you know who he is? I'm getting a pretty clear picture, yeah. And you're... what? Dating him? He's dangerous. Elena. Like, actually dangerous. There are rumors about him that would make your hair curl. I touch the ends of my hair self-consciously. I'm not dating him. It's complicated. Complicated how? I can't tell her the truth that I'm basically in protective custody because Adrian decided I was his and now his enemies might target me. That I'm living in his penthouse, wearing clothes he bought, drinking his expensive coffee, and trying not to think too hard about what it means that he makes me feel safer than I've felt in years. I just need some time to figure things out. I say finally. Can you trust me? Vanessa is quiet for a long moment. Are you safe? Yes. Are you happy? That's a harder question. Am I happy? Or am I just grateful to not be invisible for once? To have someone powerful notice me, claim me, protect me? I don't know yet. I admit. Okay, but Elena, if you need me, if anything feels wrong, you call me immediately. Promise? I promise. After we hang up, I sit in the silence of the penthouse, watching the city move below. From this high up, people look like ants, cars like toys. It's easy to feel removed from reality up here. Easy to forget that down there, in those streets, is the life I had 3 days ago. The studio apartment, the waitressing job, the constant anxiety about money. Do I even want to go back to that? The question scares me because the answer isn't as clear as it should be. Adrian returns as the sun is setting, the city lights beginning to sparkle. I'm curled up on the couch with a book I'm pretending to read when he walks in, and the first thing I notice is the tension in his shoulders, the tightness around his eyes. Bad day? I ask. He strips off his jacket, tosses it over a chair. Complicated day. Want to talk about it? He looks at me, surprised, as if the idea of discussing his day with someone hasn't occurred to him. Not particularly, but I appreciate the offer. He disappears into his room, and I hear the shower, running. When he emerges 20 minutes later, dressed in sweatpants and a t-shirt, his hair damp, he looks more human, less like the dangerous crime boss, and more like just a man. Have you eaten? He asks. Marcus brought lunch. That was 8 hours ago. Has it been that long? I lost track of time in the strange bubble of this penthouse. I'm not really hungry. Elena. He moves to stand in front of me, and suddenly I'm very aware that I'm sitting on his couch in his penthouse wearing clothes he bought me. You need to eat. I'm fine. You're not fine. You're stressed and probably scared, and definitely not eating enough. His hand comes to rest on my shoulder, warm and solid. Let me take care of you. The words do something strange to my chest, make it tight and warm and confused all at once. When was the last time someone wanted to take care of me? When was the last time I let them? Okay, I whisper. He orders dinner from somewhere I've never heard of, and we eat at the Razet dining table with its view of the city, and it's the most surreal date that's not a date I've ever experienced. He asks about my life, my family, how I ended up in New York. I tell him about my parents dying when I was young, about being raised by my grandmother who passed away when I was 19, about working multiple jobs to put myself through nursing school until I couldn't afford it anymore and had to drop out. Why nursing? He asks. Because I wanted to help people, to make a difference. I push pasta around my plate. Stupid, right? Not stupid. Idealistic maybe, but not stupid, says the man who makes his money from illegal shipping. His mouth quirks. Touché. After dinner, we end up on the couch again, and somehow I'm telling him about Vanessa, about my tiny apartment, about the alterations business I run from my living room because waitressing alone doesn't cover rent. He listens with complete attention, asking questions, remembering details, making me feel like every word matters. You could do that full time, he says. The alterations. If you had the capital to start a proper business. With what money? I can barely make rent. I could help. I shake my head immediately. No. Why not? Because I'm not a charity case. Because I don't even know what we are if we're anything. Because accepting money from you makes this all feel transactional in a way that makes me uncomfortable. He studies me for a long moment. What if it wasn't a loan? What if it was an investment? You use the money to start your business, and I get a percentage of the profits. That's still you giving me money. That's me investing in someone whose work I believe in based on nothing more than your obvious talent and determination. He shifts closer. Elena, I'm not trying to buy you. I'm trying to help you build something that matters to you. Why? Because maybe I want to be someone who builds things instead of just taking them. His hand finds mine, threading, our fingers together. Because seeing you settle for less than you deserve makes me want to burn the world down and rebuild it in a way that's fair. The intensity in his voice steals my breath. This is a man who means what he says, who has the power to actually do what he threatens, and he's offering to use that power for me. I need to think about it, I manage. Take all the time you need. He doesn't release my hand. But Elena? I meant what I said last night. You're under my protection now. That doesn't end when the immediate threat is handled. It doesn't end when you leave this penthouse. You're mine now, and I take care of what's mine. The possessiveness should set off alarm bells, should make me pull away, demand my independence, refuse to be owned by anyone. But instead, it makes me feel something I've been missing for years. Wanted, valued, important enough to protect. What if I don't want to be yours? I ask, even though we both know it's not really a question. His thumb strokes across my knuckles. Then I'll let you go. Hate it. Spend the rest of my life regretting it. But I'll let you go. His eyes meet mine. But I don't think that's what you want. He's right. God help me, he's right. I lean in, closing the distance between us, and kiss him. It's tentative at first, questioning, giving him a chance to pull back. Instead, his hand comes up to cup my face, and he deepens the kiss with a gentleness that contradicts everything I know about him. He kisses like he has all the time in the world, like I'm precious, like this moment matters more than any of the dangerous things he's done or will do. When we finally break apart, my heart is pounding, my breath coming fast, and his forehead rests against mine. Stay, he whispers. Not just tonight, stay with me. I should say no, should demand to go back to my life, my independence, my invisible existence. But looking into his eyes, feeling the warmth of his hand against my face, I find myself nodding. Okay, I'll stay. 3 weeks. That's how long I've been living in Adrian Sorrentino's penthouse, existing in this strange liminal space between guest and girlfriend, between protection and possession. 3 weeks of waking up in silk sheets, drinking expensive coffee, wearing clothes that actually fit. 3 weeks of dinners where he asks about my day, of evenings curled up on the couch while he works on his laptop, of goodnight kisses that leave me wanting more but never quite crossing that final line. 3 weeks of pretending this is sustainable. The clothes he bought me now feel like a uniform designer jeans and cashmere sweaters that mark me as his in a way that makes me both grateful and resentful. I've started doing alterations again, working from the penthouse's second bedroom that Adrian converted into a studio space without asking. Just presented it one morning with industrial sewing machines and proper lighting, and bolts of fabric I never could have afforded. For your business, he'd said simply, as if dropping $20,000 on equipment was nothing. I should have refused. Should have insisted on doing it myself, on maintaining some scrap of independence. But the truth is, I love it. Love having proper tools, adequate space, the ability to create without constantly worrying about making rent. I hate how much I love it. Vanessa visits on a Tuesday afternoon, her first time seeing the penthouse. She stands in the foyer with her mouth slightly open, taking in the marble and crystal and view of the city that makes my old studio apartment look like a closet by comparison. "Elena," she says slowly, "this is insane. I know, like actually insane. This place probably costs more per month than I make in a year. I know." She turns to me, her expression caught between concern and something that might be envy. "Are you happy?" It's the same question she asked 3 weeks ago, and I still don't have a good answer. "I'm safe," I say instead. That's not what I asked. We settle in the kitchen that's bigger than my entire old apartment, and I make coffee with the machine that cost more than my car used to be worth. Vanessa watches me move through the space with the ease of familiarity, and I can see her calculating, assessing, trying to figure out who I've become in 3 short weeks. "He treats you well?" she asks carefully. "Yes. I struggle for the right word. Attentive, protective. He wants to know about my day, my dreams, what I'm thinking. He listens like every word matters. But I don't know if this is real or if I'm just playing house with a dangerous man who'll get bored eventually." I set down my coffee cup, the porcelain delicate enough that I'm always afraid of breaking it. I don't know if he wants me or if he just wants to own something no one else can have. Vanessa reaches across the counter, squeezes my hand. "Have you asked him? How do you ask something like that? Hey, Adrian, am I your girlfriend or your pet project? Do you actually care about me or am I just the latest thing you've decided to collect?" Maybe not in those exact words, but yeah. "Elena, you can't keep living in limbo. Either this is a relationship with a future, or it's a beautiful cage." I finish the thought she was too kind to voice. The front door opens. Adrian has the kind of security that announces arrivals, and he walks in with Marcus trailing behind him. He stops when he sees Vanessa, something like wariness crossing his features before he smooths it away. "Vanessa, good to see you." He's polite, charming even, but there's a distance in his voice that wasn't there when he talks to me. "I hope Elena's been a good host. The best," Vanessa says, but her tone is cool, assessing him the way she assessed the penthouse. "We were just catching up." Adrian's eyes move to me, and I see the question there. "Is everything okay? Do you want me to stay or give you privacy?" "Adrian was just leaving for a meeting," I say, making the decision for him. "Weren't you?" His jaw tightens almost imperceptibly. "Right. I'll be back around 7. We have dinner reservations at 8. He moves close enough that I can smell his cologne, and kisses my forehead, a gesture that's become so familiar it feels routine. Except there's nothing routine about the way my skin tingles where his lips touched, the way my breath catches despite myself. When he's gone, Vanessa gives me a look. "You're in deep." I know. Does he know? I don't know. Maybe. We haven't talked about feelings. About what this is. I run my fingers through my hair, frustrated. He shows me through actions. The studio space. The clothes. The way he remembers everything I tell him. But he's never actually said that he loves you. The word hangs in the air like a bomb. Love. Do I love Adrian Sorrentino? Do I love the man who scares away threats with a phone call? Who controls more of this city than anyone realizes? Who treats me like I'm precious while running an empire built on illegal activities? I don't know if he's capable of love, I say quietly. I don't know if what he feels for me is love, or possession, or just... My phone buzzes. A text from Adrian. "Vanessa seems concerned about you. Is she right to be?" I stare at the message. How did he know? Is he watching through security cameras? Did Marcus tell him? "He's texting you, isn't he?" Vanessa says, reading my expression. Checking in. Making sure everything's okay. Is that bad? That he cares? It's not bad. But Elena, you need to ask yourself. Is he checking in because he trusts you to handle your own life? Or because he needs to monitor and control every aspect of it? The question cuts too close to thoughts I've been avoiding for 3 weeks. After Vanessa leaves, promising to call tomorrow, making me promise to think about what she said, I'm left alone in the penthouse with my thoughts, and the increasingly uncomfortable realization that I've been avoiding the hard questions. What am I to Adrian? What is he to me? What happens when the threat is gone and I don't need his protection anymore? I'm still wrestling with these questions when he returns at 6:45, earlier than expected. He finds me in the studio. bent over an alteration for a client I picked up through word of mouth. A bridesmaid dress that needs to be taken in 3 inches. You're good at that, he observes, leaning against the doorframe. I've had practice. I finish pinning a seam, set the fabric aside. You're early. Meeting ended sooner than expected. He moves into the room, picks up a swatch of fabric I've been considering for a design. This is beautiful. What are you making? Just an idea I had. A dress. Probably nothing. Show me. I hesitate, then pull out my sketchbook. It's full of designs I've been working on: dresses, suits, pieces that blend structure with softness, power with femininity, clothes for women who want to be seen but on their own terms. Adrian pages through the sketches slowly, studying each one with genuine interest. These are incredible, Elena. You should be selling these. To who? I don't have connections in the fashion world. You have me. He sets down the sketchbook, moves closer. I know people. Gallery owners, boutique managers, investors looking for new talent. One phone call and you could have meetings with people who matter. I don't want handouts because I'm sleeping with you. The words come out harsher than I intended, and his expression shudders immediately. We're not sleeping together, he says quietly. I've been very careful about that. Why? The question surprises both of us. Why what? Why have you been so careful? We kiss goodnight. You touch me constantly. My back, my hand, my face. You buy me things and set up studios and make plans for my future. But you've never... I gesture vaguely. We've never actually, because once we cross that line, there's no going back. His voice is low, intense. Once I have you completely, Elena, I won't be able to let you go. And I wanted to give you time to decide if that's what you want. To be with someone like me, permanently. Someone like you? Someone dangerous. Someone who makes enemies. Someone whose protection comes with a price, being associated with me, being a target, living in a world where violence is always just beneath the surface. He moves closer, close enough that I have to tilt my head back to meet his eyes. I wanted you to be sure before we... I'm sure. The words are out before I can second-guess them, and his eyes darken with something that might be triumph or relief or hunger. Elena, I'm sure, I repeat, more firmly this time. I'm tired of waiting, tired of pretending this is temporary, tired of being careful. I reach up, cup his face with both hands. I want you, all of you. The danger and the guy, protection and everything in between. He kisses me then, and it's nothing like the gentle goodnight kisses we've been sharing. This is claiming, consuming, 3 weeks of restraint breaking all at once. His hands slide into my hair, tilt my head to deepen the kiss, and I press closer, eliminating any space between us. We barely make it to his bedroom. Clothes come off in a trail from the studio to his suite. And then I'm on his bed, his actual bed, not the guest room, and he's above me, his eyes searching mine one last time. Last chance, he murmurs. Once we do this, I know, I'm yours, completely. I pull him down to me. I think I have been since the moment you asked me to dance. What happens next is both exactly what I expected and nothing like I imagined. He's intense, focused, attentive to every sound I make, every reaction. But he's also gentle in ways that surprise me, patient when I need him to be, demanding when I want him to be. Afterward, lying in his arms with the city lights casting shadows across the ceiling, I feel the weight of what just shifted between us. This isn't pretend anymore. This isn't temporary. I've given myself to a man who owns me in ways that go far beyond the physical, and the terrifying part is how right it feels. I need to tell you something, he says into the darkness. My stomach clenches. Nothing good ever follows those words. The threat, Richard Hartley and his associates. He pauses. It's been handled for over a week now. I process this slowly. Handled meaning? Meaning you could have gone home any time in the last week. The danger was neutralized. You were safe. I pull back slightly, trying to see his face in the dim light. Then why? Because I didn't want you to leave. His hand tightens on my waist. Because I knew if I told you it was safe, you'd go back to your apartment, back to your life, and I'd lose you. So I kept it to myself. Told myself I was still protecting you when really I was just keeping me here. The realization settles over me like ice water. You lied to me. I withheld information. It's different. It's not different. I sit up, pulling the sheet around me. You let me think I was in danger. Let me believe I needed you. When really, you do need me. Maybe not for protection from Hartley. But Elena, what were you going back to? A studio apartment you can barely afford? A waitressing job that doesn't pay you what you're worth? A life where you're invisible? His voice rises slightly. I gave you an alternative. A better life. A place where you matter. You gave me a cage. I'm on my feet now, searching for my clothes. A beautiful, expensive cage that I was too stupid to recognize because I was so grateful to finally be seen. Elena. No, Vanessa was right. You don't love me. You just want to own me. And I let you because... My voice cracks. Because I was lonely and scared and you made me feel important. I find my clothes, pull them on with shaking hands. He watches from the bed, his expression unreadable in the shadows. Where are you going? Home. To my real home. Not this. I gesture at the penthouse. Not this fantasy you built to keep me trapped. You're not trapped. You could have left any time. Could I? Really? I turn on him, anger finally overriding the hurt. You have security everywhere. You monitor everything. You knew Vanessa was concerned before she even left. How was I supposed to leave when you control every exit? I would have let you go if you'd asked. Would you? I moved to the door. Or would you have found another threat? Another reason I needed your protection? He doesn't answer, which is answer enough. I'm halfway to the guest room to grab my things when he speaks again. I do love you. I freeze, hand on the doorframe. I know I'm not good at saying it. I know I show it in ways that probably look like control. But Elena, I love you in a way I've never loved anyone. You make me want to be better. To build things instead of just taking them. To protect instead of just destroy. His voice is raw in a way I've never heard. And yes, I should have told you about Hartley. Should have given you the choice to leave. But I was terrified that if I did, you'd realize you don't need me and I do need you. The admission comes out strangled. That's the problem. I need you in ways that aren't healthy. Ways that make me dependent. Ways that mean I've lost myself in 3 weeks. Then, find yourself again. Here. With me. He's out of bed now, moving toward me, naked and vulnerable in a way that's more dangerous than any weapon. Stay and be with me. Not because you're scared or grateful, but because you choose it. Because you want it. I don't know what I want anymore. Then take time to figure it out. Stay in the guest room. Keep the studio. Use the space to build your business without any expectation or obligation. And when you know if you know that you want this, want, me, really want it, he stops an arm's length away. Then come back to my bed, but not before. It's the most reasonable thing he's said all night, which makes it somehow harder. And if I decide I want to leave? Pain flashes across his features. Then I'll let you go. Hate it. Probably send security to watch your apartment from a distance just to know you're safe. But I'll let you go. I study his face, trying to see the truth beneath the words. He's offering me space, autonomy, the choice he should have given me a week ago. It's not enough to fix the betrayal, but it's something. Okay, I say finally. I'll stay. But in the guest room. And we're not, I understand. I retreat to the guest room that's become familiar territory. Close the door that doesn't lock another thing. I just noticed and sit on the edge of the bed with my head in my hands. What am I doing? I should leave. Should pack my things and go back to Queens and rebuild my life without Adrian. Sorrentino's money or protection or love. Should prove to myself that I can survive without him. But the truth is, I don't want to. Not because I need his money or his penthouse or his security, but because somewhere in the last 3 weeks, I fell in love with a dangerous man who shows affection through control and calls it protection. And now I have to figure out if that's something I can live with, or if loving him means losing myself completely. Section 8. The battle. I spend 3 days in the guest room, working on designs, taking calls from potential clients, pretending I'm not hyper-aware of Adrian's presence in the penthouse. He keeps his distance, mostly. Appears at mealtimes, asks polite questions about my day, doesn't touch me beyond the occasional brush of fingers when handing me coffee. It's driving me insane. On the 4th day, Marcus appears at the studio door, looking more troubled than I've ever seen him. Miss Reyes, I need to speak with you about something. I sat down. My sewing. What's wrong? He glances back toward the hallway, as if checking whether Adrian might overhear. There's a situation developing. Mr. Sorrentino doesn't want you to know about it. Thinks it will worry you unnecessarily, but I believe you have a right to be informed. My stomach drops. What kind of situation? Richard Hartley. He's not as neutralized as we thought. Marcus moves fully into the room, closes the door. He's been making inquiries. About you. Where you grew up. Who your family was. What matters to you. And 3 days ago, He made contact with someone from your past. Who? Marcus hesitates. Your ex-boyfriend. From before you moved to New York. The name hits me like a physical blow. David. The reason I fled Boston with nothing but a suitcase and my savings. The man whose control had escalated from subtle manipulation to outright violence before I finally found the courage to leave. David's in Boston, I say, trying to steady my voice. He doesn't know where I am. He does now, Hartley told him. Sent him photos of you leaving the gala with Mr. Sorrentino. Photos of you entering this building. Marcus's expression is grim. And he's coming here, to New York. He arrives tonight. The room spins slightly. Does Adrian know? Yes. That's why he's been different the last few days. He's been preparing, making arrangements to handle the situation before your ex arrives. But Miss Reyes, Marcus meets my eyes. Mr. Sorrentino's idea of handling situations isn't always legal or survivable. The implication is clear. Adrian intends to kill David. I need to talk to him. He's not here. He left this morning for a meeting with his people. To finalize the plan. Then take me to him. Miss Reyes, I don't think... Marcus. I stand, grabbing my jacket. Either you take me to him, or I'll find my own way there. Your choice. He studies me for a moment, seeming to weigh loyalty to Adrian against something else, maybe respect for my autonomy, maybe understanding that this is my fight too. The meeting is at one of his properties in Brooklyn. The one he uses for... He stops. For business you probably don't want details about. I don't care what he uses it for. Take me there. The drive to Brooklyn takes 40 minutes through midday traffic. Marcus doesn't speak, but I can feel his tension radiating from the driver's seat. We pull up to what looks like an abandoned warehouse, except the security cameras and the armed men stationed at intervals around the perimeter tell a different story. One of the men, I recognize him from the gala. Part of Adrian's security detail steps forward as we exit the car. Marcus. Miss Reyes isn't supposed to be here, she insisted. Marcus's tone makes it clear this isn't negotiable. The man speaks into his radio, listens to a response I can't hear, then steps aside. Boss says let her up, but he's not happy about it. We enter through a side door that leads to an industrial elevator. Marcus hits the button for the third floor, and we ride up in silence. When the doors open, we're in what can only be described as a war room. Maps cover one wall, marked with locations and routes. Computer monitors display what look like security feeds from various locations around the city. And in the center of it all, standing over a table covered with photographs and documents, is Adrian. He looks up as we enter, and fury flashes across his face. Marcus. I specifically said, she has a right to know, Marcus interrupts. And to be part of decisions that affect her life. Adrian's jaw tightens, but he doesn't argue. Instead, he dismisses the other men in the room with a single gesture, leaving us alone except for Marcus, who positions himself near the door. You shouldn't be here, Adrian says, his voice tight with controlled anger. Marcus told me about David. About Hartley. I move to the table, look down at the surveillance photos scattered across its surface. Photos of David at the Boston train station, getting into a car, checking into a hotel in Manhattan. You were planning to kill him. I was planning to eliminate a threat. He's not a threat. I stop, trying to find words. He's a man I used to date who couldn't handle rejection, who scared me enough that I ran. But that doesn't mean he deserves to die. He put his hands on you. Adrian's voice is deadly quiet. Marcus found the hospital records from Boston. Cracked ribs, bruised windpipe, a concussion that should have been reported to police but wasn't because you were too scared. I'd forgotten about those records, buried them along with the memories of that final night, when David's anger had escalated beyond anything I could handle. That was years ago. I left. I started over. He's not my problem anymore. He became my problem the moment he accepted Hartley's information about you. Adrian moves around the table, but stops several feet away, as if aware that getting too close might push me away. Elena, men like David and Hartley, they don't just go away because you want them to. They escalate. They come back, and I won't. His voice cracks slightly. I can't stand by and watch someone hurt you. So, you'll hurt them first? Kill them? Add 2 more bodies to whatever count you already have? I shake my head. Adrian, I didn't run from David, just to become someone who solves problems with violence. You didn't run from David. I'm the one offering to solve this problem, with methods that make you just as bad as he is. The words hang in the air, and I watch something in Adrian's expression shutter closed. You think I'm like him? He says flatly. A man who hurts women. No. But you're a man who hurts people, period. And asking you to kill someone on my behalf makes me complicit in that violence. I move closer, making him look at me. I love you. I think I've loved you since you asked me to dance. Maybe even before that. But I can't be with someone who kills people who inconvenience me. This isn't inconvenience, Elena. This is danger. Then let me handle it my way. Which is what, exactly? Ask him nicely to leave you alone? Hope Hartley suddenly develops a conscience? Adrian's hands curl into fists at his sides. Your way gets you hurt. My way keeps you safe. Your way makes me a prisoner of your protection. My voice rises. Don't you see? If I let you kill everyone who might pose a threat, I'm living in a cage of corpses. Is that what you want for me? I want you alive. He's shouting now, control finally snapping. I want you safe and whole and in my bed every night. I want you to never feel fear again. Never worry about someone hurting you. And if that means killing every person who even thinks about threatening you, then yes, that's exactly what I'll do. The raw emotion in his voice stops my anger cold. I can't breathe in a world where you've eliminated every possible danger, I say quietly. I need to be able to live, Adrian. Really live. Make mistakes. Face consequences. Grow. You can't protect me from everything without suffocating me in the process. He stares at me, jaw working, clearly fighting against every instinct he has. Finally. What do you want me to do? Let me talk to David, face to face. With you there if you need to be, but let me handle it my way first. And if your way doesn't work, then we figure out plan B. Together. I close the distance between us, place my hands on his chest. You said you love me. Prove it by trusting me to handle my own life. For a long moment, he doesn't respond. Then his hands come up to cover mine, and I feel the tremor in them, fear or fury or both. If he touches you, he won't. If he even looks at you wrong. Adrian. I squeeze his hands. Trust me. He closes his eyes, takes a breath that seems to cost him. Okay, we do it your way. But I'm there. And Marcus. And if things go sideways even a little bit, then you can do whatever you think is necessary. I stand on tiptoe, press a kiss to his jaw. Thank you. David arrives at the location we specify, a neutral restaurant Marcus selected, public enough to be safe but private enough for a difficult conversation. Adrian and Marcus wait at a nearby table, close enough to intervene if needed but far enough to give me space. I see David before he sees me, and the sight of him triggers a cascade of memories I'd rather forget. He looks the same, sandy hair, average height, the kind of face that's pleasant in a forgettable way. Nothing about his appearance suggests the capacity for violence lurking beneath. He spots me, starts to approach, and something in his expression makes my skin prickle with old fear. But then he glances past me, sees Adrian watching with an expression that could cut glass, and whatever he was planning dies in his throat. Elena. He sits across from me, careful to keep his hands visible on the table. You look good. Different. What do you want, David? Straight to business. No, how have you been? Or sorry I scared you so badly you fled the state. There's bitterness in his voice. I don't owe you pleasantries. You put me in the hospital. He has the grace to flinch. I've been going to therapy, working on my anger issues. I'm different now, Elena. Better. Good. I'm glad. But that doesn't change anything between us. It could, though. If you gave me another chance. No. The flatness in my voice seems to surprise him. You didn't even let me finish. Because there's nothing you can say that would make me want to try again. I lean forward slightly. I came here to tell you in person. Stay away from me. Stay away from my life. Don't contact me. Don't try to find me. Don't take money or information from men like Richard Hartley who want to use you to get to people I care about. People like your new boyfriend? David's eyes flick to Adrian again, and there's something ugly in his expression now. I looked him up. Adrian Sorrentino. Alleged organized crime connections. Multiple investigations, no convictions. Real winner you found there, Elena. He's a better man than you ever were. He's a criminal, and you're an abuser. At least he's honest about what he is. David's hands curl into fists on the table, old patterns reasserting themselves. You think you're better than me now? Think because you're dating some rich mobster, you're untouchable? I think I deserve better than a man who hurt me. And I think you need to leave New York tonight and never come back. Or what? Your boyfriend will have me killed? He laughs, but there's no humor in it. You know what, Elena? You deserve each other. Both of you pretending to be better than you are. Both of you. He doesn't finish the sentence because Adrian is suddenly standing beside our table, and the temperature in the restaurant seems to drop 10 degrees. I think this conversation is over, Adrian says quietly. David looks up at him, and I watch the calculation happen in real time, weighing whether pride is worth whatever Adrian might do to him. Pride loses. Fine. I'm leaving. He stands, starts to walk away, then turns back. You made a mistake, Elena. Running to him instead of back to me. You'll figure that out eventually. If I ever do, I say calmly, it still won't mean I want you back. He leaves, and I release a breath I didn't know I was holding. Adrian's hand settles on my shoulder, warm and grounding. You okay? Yeah, actually, I am. I turn to look up at him. Thank you for letting me do that. Thank you for not making me kill him. His attempt at humor falls flat, but I appreciate the effort. Can we go home now? Home. He said home. Not back to the penthouse or back to my place. Home. Yeah, let's go home. Section 9. The new world. The penthouse feels different when we return. Or maybe I'm different. Maybe facing David, standing up for myself while knowing Adrian was there as backup. But not taking over, maybe that changed something fundamental in how I see this space. It's not a cage, it's a sanctuary I'm choosing. We're in the living room, city lights sparkling below us, when Adrian finally speaks. I'm sorry for not telling you about Hartley being handled, for keeping you here under false pretenses. He's standing by the windows, hands in his pockets, looking more vulnerable than I've ever seen him. I was afraid if I gave you the option to leave, you would, and I couldn't. He stops, starts again. I've never been good at asking for things I want. I take them. It's how I've survived, how I built everything I have, but you can't take someone's heart. You can only hope they give it to you. I move to stand beside him, our reflections ghostly in the window glass. You already have my heart. You've had it since the gala, maybe longer. That's not the question. Then what is? Whether we can build something real, something that's not based on protection or control or fear, something where I have autonomy and you have trust. I turn to face him fully. I need to know that you won't make decisions for me because you think you know better. That you'll let me make mistakes and face consequences and grow, even if those mistakes put you in danger? Even then. Because the alternative is me being a doll in your collection. Beautiful and perfect and completely lifeless. He's quiet for a long moment, and I can see the war happening behind his eyes between his instinct to protect and his desire to give me what I'm asking for. I don't know if I can do that, he admits finally. The not protecting thing. It goes against every instinct I have. I'm not asking you not to protect me. I'm asking you to let me be part of the decisions about my own protection. To consult me rather than just act. I take his hand, thread our fingers together. Can you try? Yes. The word comes out rough but certain. I can try. That's all I need. He pulls me closer. And when he kisses me this time, it feels different. Like a promise and a beginning rather than a claim. When we break apart, his forehead rests against mine. Stay with me, he murmurs. Not in the guest room. Not playing house. Really stay. Build a life here. Build your business. Take over half my closet. Leave your sewing stuff everywhere. Make this feel like home, instead of just a place I sleep. Are you asking me to move in? Officially? I'm asking you to stay. However you want to define it. His hand comes up to cup my face. I love you, Elena Reyes. I'm probably going to mess this up 1,000 times because I'm not good at relationships, and I solve problems by eliminating them rather than talking through them. But I will try. For you, I will try to be better. Tears prick my eyes because this raw honesty, this vulnerability from a man who shows the world nothing but strength, this is what I've been waiting for. I love you too, I whisper. And I'll stay. But you have to promise me something. Anything. No more lies, no more withholding information for my own good. We're partners, or we're nothing. He nods. Partners. And I keep my own bank account. My own money from my business. Agreed. And we get a joint account for shared expenses that I actually contribute to. Not just you paying for everything. A smile tugs at his mouth. You realize I make significantly more than you will, at least initially. I don't care. I need to contribute, to feel like an equal partner, not a dependent. Okay, joint account. Equal contributions in terms of percentage of income rather than raw dollars? I consider this. That's actually fair. Okay. Anything else? I think about the future, my business, his empire, the life we might build together. I want to meet your sister, and any other family you have." His expression shifts, becoming guarded. "My family is complicated. Most families are. But if we're doing this, really doing this, I want to know the people who matter to you. I want them to know me." He's quiet for long enough that I think he might refuse. Then, "Okay, I'll arrange something." "But Elena," his eyes meet mine. "My sister got out of this world for a reason. She knows what I do, what I am, and she's chosen distance to protect herself and her family. Meeting her means accepting that she might not approve of you being with me. I can handle that, can you?" He searches my face. "Because once you're fully in my world, meeting my associates, attending family functions, being seen as my partner, there's no going back to invisible. Everyone will know who you are and who you belong to." "I already belong to you. At least, that's what you told all those men at the gala." I smile slightly. "Besides, I'm done being invisible. I want to be seen, even if it's dangerous." "Especially because it's dangerous," he corrects, but there's approval in his voice. We stand by the windows for a while, wrapped in each other, watching the city pulse with life below. Finally, he takes my hand and leads me toward his bedroom. "Where are we going?" "To bed. Our bed." He pauses at the doorway. "Unless you want the guest room?" I shake my head. "No. I want to sleep next to you. Wake up next to you. I want all of it." What follows is different from our first time. Slower, more deliberate, more about connection than claiming. He undresses me carefully, as if I'm precious, and when we're finally skin to skin, he takes his time mapping every inch of me like he's memorizing territory he plans to revisit for years. "Mine," he murmurs against my neck, and this time the possessiveness doesn't make me want to run. Because I'm claiming him too, in my own way. "Yours, I agree, but you're mine too. That's how this works." His laugh is low and warm. "Absolutely yours." Afterward, lying tangled in sheets that cost more than my first car, I feel something settle in my chest that I haven't felt in years. Peace. Not because my life is now easy or safe or simple, but because I've chosen this, chosen him, chosen us, chosen to stop running and start building. "What are you thinking?" Adrian asks, his fingers tracing lazy patterns on my shoulder. "That 3 weeks ago I was invisible, and now I'm here, in your bed, in your life, and it's terrifying and perfect and completely insane." Regrets? I think about my studio apartment in Queens, my waitressing job, the life I was living where I was safe but invisible. Then I think about this, the penthouse, the studio he built for me, the business I'm starting, this man who looks at me like I matter more than anything. No regrets. Just, I search for the word. Gratitude. For you seeing me when no one else did. For making me believe I deserve to be seen. He pulls me closer, his lips pressing against my forehead. "Elena, you were always worth seeing. I just happened to be looking in the right direction." 3 months later, the boutique opening is more successful than I imagined possible. The small shop in Soho, funded by a legitimate business loan that Adrian co-signed for, but that I'm paying back myself, is packed with people. Fashion bloggers, potential clients, even a few buyers from larger stores interested in carrying my designs. Vanessa is here, beaming with pride, telling everyone who will listen that she knew me before I was famous. I'm not famous, but she's excited. Adrian stands near the back, trying to be unobtrusive but failing because even in a crowd, he commands attention. His sister, Maria, came in from California for the opening, a petite woman with kind eyes who pulled me aside earlier and said, "Take care of him. He needs someone who sees past the armor." The best moment comes when an older woman misses. Chen, who was one of my first alteration clients, purchases 3 pieces, then turns to the crowd and announces, "This girl has been making me look fabulous for years. You're all fools if you don't buy everything." As the evening winds down, Adrian materializes at my side, his hand settling at the small of my back in that now familiar gesture. "Successful night," he observes. "Beyond my wildest dreams." I lean into him slightly, grateful for his solid presence. "Thank you. For the loan cosign. For the contacts. For believing in this. I didn't do anything. This is all you." His lips brush my temple, though I'm taking credit for being smart enough to see your potential. "How very modest of you. Modesty is overrated." He turns me to face him, right there in my boutique, surrounded by my designs and my dreams made real. "I have something for you." He pulls out a small velvet box, and my heart stops. "Adrian, before you panic, it's not what you think, or not exactly what you think." He opens the box to reveal a key, not a ring, a key, to the penthouse. Your name on the deed. Full ownership rights if anything happens to me. I stare at the key. Emotions flooding through me too fast to name. You're giving me the penthouse? I'm giving you security, equity, proof that this isn't me keeping you, it's us building something together. His voice drops lower, but also, he reaches into his other pocket, pulls out a second box. Smaller, ring-sized, my breath catches. I'm not proposing, he says quickly. Not yet, but I wanted you to know I'm thinking about it. That when you're ready, if you're ready, I want this. Marriage, future, everything. He opens the second box to reveal a ring that's both simple and stunning. A single diamond set in platinum, elegant without being ostentatious. Adrian, my voice breaks. You don't have to answer now. You don't have to wear it. I just wanted you to know that in my mind, in my plans, in my future, you're there. Always. His hand cups my face. Take your time. Build your business. Get comfortable with this life. And when you're ready, if you're ready, I'll ask properly. I look at this man who terrified me at a charity gala, who claimed me before asking permission, who's learning to give me freedom while offering protection, who's trying so hard to be better, to be worthy, to build something real with me. Ask me now, I whisper. His eyes widen. Elena, ask me now, because I already know my answer. For a moment, he just stares at me. Then, to my complete shock, Adrian Sorrentino, the most powerful, dangerous man in New York, drops to one knee right there in my boutique. Elena Reyes, will you marry me? Will you build a life with me, knowing I'm flawed and controlling, and probably always going to worry too much about your safety? Will you trust me enough to be my partner? My equal? My wife? I'm crying now, not caring that people are watching, that this is supposed to be about my business opening. Yes, I'll marry you. He slides the ring onto my finger, it fits perfectly, because of course he knows my size, and then he's standing, pulling me into his arms, kissing me in front of everyone while the boutique erupts in applause and Vanessa squeals loud enough to shatter glass. When we finally break apart, breathless and beaming, he whispers in my ear, "Thank you for seeing me, for choosing me, for making me want to be worthy of you. Thank you for making me visible," I whisper back, "for showing me I was always worth seeing." And there, in a boutique full of designs I created, wearing a ring from a man who terrifies most people, but looks at me like I hung the stars, I finally understand what it means to be truly seen, not as invisible, not as someone's possession, but as myself, fully and completely, flaws and strengths, choices and consequences. Elena Reyes, soon to be Elena Sorrentino, designer and partner and equal, visible at last. The charity gala at the Grand Celestial Hotel feels different this time. I'm not hiding at table 12, trying to be invisible. I'm at the center table on Adrian's arm, wearing a dress I designed myself, emerald silk that brings out the green in my eyes, with a back that's daringly low and a neckline that's perfectly modest. I'm not afraid of being seen anymore. Around the ballroom, women who once looked through me now watch with barely concealed envy. Men who wouldn't have noticed me a year ago now make sure to greet Adrian respectfully, their eyes skating over me with calculation and a little fear. I'm Adrian Sorrentino's wife now. That comes with protection, with power, with visibility that's both thrilling and sometimes overwhelming. But it also comes with love. Real, messy, complicated love that we work at every day. He still tries to protect me too much. I still push back. We're still figuring out the balance between his need for control and my need for autonomy. But we're doing it together, as partners, and that makes all the difference. "What are you thinking?" Adrian asks, his hand warm at the small of my back, that gesture that once felt like possession, but now feels like home. That exactly 1 year ago, I was invisible at a gala just like this one. And now, I look around the ballroom at the designs I'm wearing, at the business I've built, at the life I've created, and smile. Now I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. He pulls me onto the dance floor, and as we move to music, I actually recognize this time. I catch sight of other couples, including a young woman in a clearance dress looking nervous and out of place at a back table. I see you, I think. I see you trying to be invisible. And maybe, if she's lucky, someday someone will see her too. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you love this story, check out the other videos on your screen now. I think you'll really enjoy them. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. See you in the next story.